Hey guys, welcome back to Dislyte. In today's video, I wanted to talk about what you should make your first 6-star. Now, I'm going to talk you through my process. You don't have to use this. This is just the way my brain thinks about these things. So, giving you the info that I use. If you guys want to go a different path, there is nothing wrong with that. But essentially, when I look at the first 6-star, so I'm only about 48 hours into the game, and I've already made 2 6-stars. The game gives you so many 5-star Starimons from all the missions and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. So you should, by the time you're getting towards like chapter 12 of the story, you should probably have enough 5-star Starimon to make 1, and then by the time you get into hard mode a little bit, you should have enough Starimon to make 2. So, clearing this star promotion is huge. You get a bunch of them, but you just get a bunch of them through like everything. I'm going to jump into one that doesn't have any. Yeah, you can see like this has got a 4-star or 4-star, but then eventually a lot of these things will drop you a 5-star along the way. I can't find them, but you know what I mean. They're in there. They're in there somewhere. They're in there somewhere. Please don't make a fool of me. Damn, this one's making a fool of me. But yeah. They are in there, trust. But yeah, the game gives you a lot. So I didn't really have to grind a lot of fodder to get these guys to 6-star. They literally the game just gave me that many 5-star Starimon that it was ridiculous. They also give you a 4-star max level one, which then you just upgrade and that's another 5-star. So it's pretty solid. But who do you want to make your first and second 6-star? I'm going to talk about the first two. Now, the basics for me is, the first thing I'll mention is I want them to be damage dealers. The reason being is you need damage dealers to deal more damage. They need stats to deal damage. Also, with damage dealers, you're going to be giving them relics that are focused towards damage. For instance, him, we got crit rate, attack. On her, I've got crit damage, attack, speed. Now, that was just for speed tuning reasons. But you're going to want offensive stats, which means they're going to be lacking in defensive stats from the relics. So it's twofold. The reason I go for damage dealers is 1, it gives them higher offensive stats, but 2, it gives them those higher defensive stats to survive whilst being offensive. So that's what I look towards. I don't like doing support or tanks until later on. I might even do one more DPS before I go and start 6-starring supports. But yeah, that is the first thing that I look to. DPS units. Now, as for my first one, the Li Ling was my first one. Now, there's an extra reason for Li Ling is because we have this event here, which once we get him to level 60, we get a shimmer record, and we're all summon addicts, so that's probably the number one reason I did make him first. But what I like to do is my first unit, the first unit that I 6-star, normally I like to be able to farm really well, which Li Ling can do, and also be useful in the first dungeon that I look to go to. Now, I have heard people talking about options for, team like building up and going straight into APEP, which I think could be plausible. It's not what I'm doing. I'm personally going into Chronos first. I can farm 7 at the moment, but Chronos is the first dungeon I'm looking at, which is basically what I consider to be the most straightforward one. APEP will be the second one. Now, if you pull specific units, APEP can get really easy, but I don't have all the units that I need for this. So the first dungeon I'm looking towards is Chronos, and then the second one will be APEP. So when I look at my first damage dealer, my first 6-star, I want it to be a damage dealer that can farm and go and help me in my first dungeon. Li Ling does that. He's really good in Chronos, and he's an amazing farmer. So he is the first option that I'm going to go with for my 6-star. That was my reasoning. Now, when I look at my second 6-star, once again, also want this one to be a damage dealer. This one, I want to be strong in the first dungeon I'm looking at, and also the second dungeon I'm looking at. Now, I have done Lin. I'll speak in a minute about who I would do if I was completely free to play and had no luxury 4-star or 5-star units. But Lin was the one that I went for. Reason being is she's a beast in Chronos. She brings the defense break, the speed down. She has really high damage. She has a bit of AP reduction as well. So she's really strong there. Second reason being, she's really strong in APEP. APEP is a dungeon where you do not want multi-hit attacks. So Li Ling falls off because his second and third skill are both multi-hit attacks. This one hitting 5 times. Really bad for the APEP dungeon. But if we look over here at Lin Jiao, she's got 3 abilities that hit really hard, bring some great utility, defense down, speed down, extra bleed damage, AP down, and they're all single hit abilities. So she's great in Chronos, but she's also great in APEP. Then if I didn't, and so that's my reasoning. Just a quick recap. First two units, damage dealers. The first one wants to be a farmer and a really strong in your first dungeon. Second one, I want to be strong in my first dungeon and second dungeon. Now, once again, this is just the way I do it. You guys don't have to do it this way. For me personally, I could have just done Lin Jiao because she's a good farmer. She's good in the first dungeon. She's good in the second dungeon. I could have skipped Li Ling and gone straight into another unit that was going to be useful in both dungeons, and that would have probably been better for me than Li Ling. But Li Ling, let's not forget, he brings the Shimmer record when I get him to level 60. So here's a must for me. So if I didn't have Lin Jiao though, so let's play it like I didn't have, let's play it like I didn't even have Li Ling. I had no 5 stars. Everyone has Mona. So you could do Mona for your first one. Now for people with Wukong, I don't have enough testing in Wukong. I don't think Wukong's great in Chronos. If you're going for a different strategy, maybe. I'm not too sure. I can't really speak to the Wukong people because I haven't tested it. But like, you know, if I couldn't do Li Ling, maybe I do Mona, because Mona is a good farmer and she's useful in Chronos. She's not the greatest in Chronos anymore. When the game first came out in soft launch, she was fantastic. She doesn't have the damage that Li Ling has, and Li Ling also has more AP absorption. So, you know, she does have it on her second skill, but she's not as great. But she is an option. For me personally, I'm probably not going to build my Mona for a very long time until I get into like niche, having fun time. But, you know, Li Ling's just the better option in my opinion. So if you have Li Ling, that's who I'd go for. If not, maybe Mona. Like I said, I'm not too sure on the Wukong strategy. But I'd be tempted to get Wukong so I can get Wukong to 60 so that I can go ahead and get that record. So up to you. But for instance, if you went Li Ling like I did for your first 6-star and you're looking for a second option and you don't have Lin Jiao, which is going to be most people, the option I would go for if I had no more luxury, if I had no 4-star or 5-star units to choose from, my second unit would be Drew. Now, Drew, the reason for him is that he's a solid second DPS in Chronos. He's not the greatest, but he's solid. He brings the defense down, which in a staple free-to-play team, you're probably going to be missing out on the defense down in your team. So him bringing that will increase that damage that you can deal. This is on a 2-turn cooldown as well, which is really nice. So you get 100% uptime of this defense down debuff, which is really nice. Also, this has a really nice multiplier. On top of that, he has this ability, which has a really strong multiplier. Now, the secondary effect of this ability, where it deals extra damage if you kill an enemy, isn't going to apply on the boss, but it's also really handy for helping wipe the waves. So he's really good for that. And then this one, if it crits, he's going to reset the cooldown on this. So if you build him with crit, he will be basically have these like this every other turn, this every other turn. So you're going to have pretty broad options for what abilities you want to use if you build him. Now, the other thing about him is he's like I said, he's not the greatest for Chronos, but he's okay. But he's also really, really strong for APEP. Reason being, APEP is green, he is orange. Orange is good against green. I still can't remember the names of these things. But yeah, that's the main reason. He's also amazing against APEP. Once again, same reasons. Brings the defense down, has high damage multipliers. He can help with the waves before the boss. And also, he's just really strong multipliers is the big thing. So he would be my go-to option if I didn't have Lin Jiao. He's the one I would have gone through. Now, keep in mind, if you have other 4-stars or 5-stars that you can use, just take a look at them. Are they strong against APEP? Are they strong against Chronos? That's how I would look to my second option. But once again, that is where we're at. And then if you're looking, like I'll do a whole team video, but the basic team that I'm using at the moment is those two along with Shangpu and also Helena. Now, I do have her, which I could definitely use better than Helena, but I'd already leveled Helena up, so I couldn't be bothered leveling her up as well. I know she's better, but you know, I'm lazy. So, and also at the moment, like I'm using her, Catherine, which she's not like, she doesn't really bring a hell of a lot to the table for my farming, but I'm just waiting for that final unit to slot in. And if you're wondering who the final unit that I'm going to slot into my team is, it's going to be over here. Eventually we'll go for the fusion as well, and then we'll put Gabrielle in there. But at the moment I'm trying to proc a Yishuha dungeon so that I can get her. She brings the attack up, the defense up, she has invincibility, she has recovery, she has heal, and she has attack down. She's an absolute beast. She's going in my team. I just got to find the damn dungeon, which is taking me forever. So at the moment, what I'm doing is farming over here in the Shimmer Dungeon. Trying to proc that ripple at the moment, trying to get that shimmer ripple happening. But I'm also farming here because I can farm 7 Chronos, but its drop rate of 6-star relics is pretty poor. So what I'm doing here is, it's probably not necessary, but because I'm in love with Lin Jiao, I'm going to try and get her ascended. So as you can see, I'm up to here, there. So just got to get these ones happening as well, and then I can get the extra crit damage. But that's pretty much where I'm farming at the moment, going in between just trying to push story, farming some of those mats because the day has got about 4 hours left. So hopefully I can get her to 6 ascended by then, and then keep going. But like I said, those are my first 2 units. My third 6-star, if you're curious, is probably gonna, I'm saving up summons, so I'm gonna wait and see what I summon before I make my third 6-star, because this is where we're at here. We got 31 summons, we got the 1 shimmer record. I will do a summon session probably in the next few days once I get him to 60 and get another shimmer record. So I'm gonna wait and see, but if I don't get any other useful units, I will probably go ahead and make Drew my next 6-star, and then just take him into APEP along with Lin Jiao, and then the rest of my staple team, and then we should be pretty good to start progressing through that. But I'm gonna hold out, even if I did those summons that I have now and I didn't pull anything good, I wouldn't go ahead and do Drew yet because I don't need him. I don't need him for my Chronos team. He's there purely for APEP, so I'd rather wait until I actually look at building an APEP team and I'm ready to start farming over there before I actually build that 6-star. Because for now, we should be pretty fine. The next thing that I'm focusing on, I'm probably going to leave these guys at her at 4-star. I might take her to 5-star. I'll have to think about that. But the next thing I'm looking at doing is getting all the fusion characters ready. The one problem is that I don't have a bestowed yet, so I could probably got to do some summons so I can get a bestowed so I can actually do the fusion requirements. But that is where we're at. That is the first 2 6-stars. Like I said, that's just the strategy that I went for. If you guys want to use a different strategy, that's fine. I'm not saying I'm right. That is just my logic. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.